Bhagwan Vishnu says at one time, a little boy started roaming through a village that could be found on the banks of the Gomati river. And so, roaming through this place, this little boy, he was very noticeable. And being very noticeable, he was screaming, he was shouting, he was trying to get the attention of all the beings who lived around. Trying to get everybody's attention. Everybody noticed him. But what they noticed about him is that he was walking with a handful of rice. One handful of rice. A little child, a little boy, one handful of rice and a chamach. What is a chamach? Chamach. Have you ever heard that word before? Chamach? Chamach means spoon. With one spoon of doodh. What is doodh? Doodh. One spoon of milk. A handful of rice and a spoon of milk. And carefully he's walking because he doesn't want to spill his milk and he doesn't want to scatter his rice. How far you think you could reach if you're holding a handful of rice without throwing down some or maybe spilling oil? How far you think you reach? Holding this, he started screaming and summoning everybody's attention. And he's asking everybody, door to door, I want you to make some kheer. Door to door. And everybody seeing him with his handful of rice and this one spoon of milk, they started to laugh at him. And laughing at him, they knew that this would not be able to make anything at all. And so seeing this, they all turned him away. They all tried to chase him away. And so he's saying, I want you to make a huge bowl of kheer with this handful of rice and this one spoon of milk. Everybody turned him away. And so they started to laugh at him, for they knew it was not enough to make the kheer. He did not give up. He continued roaming through the town and roaming everywhere, screaming. He became very familiar. Everybody was aware. So they started to ignore him. They started to ignore him because it became familiar. They were aware. And so ignoring him totally, what will happen? He stumbled on an old lady. And so this old lady could hardly hold herself up. But she was neech. Neech means she was poor. She was of a low caste and very unhealthy and very old. This old lady, he caught her attention. And catching her attention, he looked at her. And so he said to her, I want you to make some kheer. And she smiled. For she knew that if she had prepared this meal, she will get some too. She knows that she will get some too. And so, as he placed the rice and the doodh in her care, there was a condition. He said to her, you must make this, but the vessel, the pot in which you are making it must be bara. Bara means what? Bara. Bara means big. It must be big, it must be huge. Bara. Bartan. You must use a big pot. And so, she was poor, so she had to borrow from the parosi. What is parosi? Oh, don't go outside and call your neighbor parosi, you know. Or parosin. They'll call the police and say you're throwing slangs, huh? And he says the old lady was so poor, she had to borrow from the neighbor. And when she went to borrow this huge pot, because the neighbor knew what was happening, the neighbor thought she was pagal. Pagal means? You ever thought somebody was crazy before? She went to borrow this pot, this vessel, this bartan. And the neighbor thought she was pagal because one handful of rice in this big pot. She placed the doodh, she placed the rice, and she placed a little bit of sugar in there. And the little boy observed that she put the pot up on the stove, on the chulha. And while putting the pot up on the chulha, he says, I'm about to leave, but I want you to listen to my instruction. He's giving a next instruction. He gave the instruction. He says, I'm leaving, but do not eat of this kheer until I come back. Do not eat of the kheer until I come back. And so, while waiting for the kheer to be cooked, she fell asleep. And so, falling asleep, she was awakened after some time by the beautiful smell, the aroma that was coming from the kheer. It woke her up. And so, being awakened by the smell, she rushed to the pot quickly. And so, rushing to the pot had filled to the brim, overflowing with kheer. And she wondered, what kind of jadoo is this? What is jadoo? What kind of jadoo is this? What kind of magic? What kind of magic is happening here? But the smell was so good, immediately her stomach started to grumble. And so she sat patiently waiting for this little boy to come back. Patiently. She's hungry, she's waiting. But she can wait no more. The cleanest vessel, the cleanest thing that she has is the chamach, the spoon. That's the cleanest thing that she has. She takes a spoon and she takes out one spoonful and she goes to her altar. And on the altar there is a chote murti. Chote means small. Chote murti, a small murti. The size of the murti doesn't matter. It is the bhakti, the devotion in which you pray that matters. The murti is geared to help us to have some kind of vision, to help us to have some kind of focus, not to stray, not to lose our balance. And that's what the murti is geared at. And so she took the spoon of kheer and she placed it in front of the murti and she fed the murti the kheer. She sat down and she started to eat, but she was eating from the pot. Because she has no vessel, she is poor. She's eating from the pot. In Trinidad, they say when you eat from the pot, what will happen? Oh, you all know. Last night we spoke about that. That's not true. Well, I don't know if that's true, but I tried to see if I'll find that anywhere in scripture. I did not see that. I saw where it says that you are not supposed to eat from a pot. Why? Because you are jutaing the food. And anytime you juta the food and you feed it to the gas, you get a sin. It is a path. That's why when you're cooking the big pot of food, you don't only take your finger and lick it like that. There's some people, they will cook any amount of food and they don't have to taste anything. They know if it has enough by the smell. Huh? When we are making the parsad, I say to them, I say it needs some more sugar. They say, how you know? I say, I'm smelling it. They say, you smelling sugar? And then when the parsad is done, they say, you were right, it really wanted some more sugar. Because you know, by your experience, you know what it is supposed to smell like. It says she sat there and she started to eat from the pot. And as soon as she started to eat, what will happen? The little boy appeared. The little boy who had warned her, do not eat until I appears. Every day for the thief, you know, but one day for the master. Have you ever heard that before? Every day for the thief, but one day for the master. And so she gets caught in the act. And being caught in the act, she begins to stutter and stammer. Somebody ever catch you doing something you're not supposed to do? Huh? How you react? How you react? Adi was you begin to stutter, you begin to stammer. It says what will happen? As he enters, she falls to his feet and she begins to beg for Chama. And she says, I waited and I waited and I waited and I thought you were not coming, you forgot me. So I started to eat. But before I started to eat, I offered some to my murti of Lord Ganesh. The little boy, he replied and he says, I know, I ate it already. The little boy replied and he says, I know, I ate it already. She got up and she rushed to her murti and her spoon was empty. And so she was stunned. She was confused. She could not believe what was happening. And she looked at him and she said, you ate it? And he says, yes, I ate it. She says, so is it that you are Lord Ganesh? He says, I am Lord Ganesh. She falls to the feet of the little boy. And falling to the feet of the little boy, he now gives an instruction. He says, take this kheer and distribute it to the home of all of those who turned me away. And so share with them so that they will be blessed also.